Greetings, fellow woodworkers and makers of great things. Welcome to my shop. You know, I've been working on and off on this little box for my hollow chisel mortising bits. You see them over there on the bench, and they tend to they tend to sit for a long time, right? It might be a year or two before I use a 3/8 inch hollow chisel mortising bit again. You don't use the equipment. I don't use the equipment that often, and I pretty much use a lot of 1/4 inch mortises for stuff. So anyway, they sit around. I had them in a kind of a fabric tool roll, and they would pick up moisture and get tarnished as they are now. They've been worse, and I thought to myself that I should probably store them a little better. This way, every time I need to use that machine, I don't have to clean up and sharpen these things so much. So what I thought to do was to make a little box, and I've already got the sides and fronts and backs and even the bottom all cut out. Sorry, I didn't think to film the dovetailing. If anybody does want to see hand cut dovetailing, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to do a video on that, but there are about 1 million videos on hand cut dovetails populating YouTube, so I won't do it unless I get a couple of requests. But I want to make a small box, and I got to a point with the box where I needed some grooves. I needed to plow some grooves, one for the bottom of the box and one for a divider for a tray that'll go inside the top of the box. And to do that, whenever I'm working on a small box or a small drawer like this, I have a go-to tool. And it's this Record 43 plane that I picked up a while ago. Don't ask me where. Probably some antique tool auction or show, or some woodworking show where there was an antique tool dealer selling stuff. And I've had it for quite a long time. And really all I use it for is to plow grooves into small boxes for bottoms or trays, or small drawers for drawer bottoms. I don't think I've ever used anything other than the 1/8 inch iron for it. It comes with 3 irons. There's a 3/16, there's a 1/4 inch. I always just use the 1/8 because, again, I'm working on small stuff with. But I'm doing this, and I'm saying, well, this would be a good YouTube maybe, because who's ever seen a Record 43 in use, or even knows what it is? And I thought, well, maybe I'll do a short video on that. You don't need to see me make another box. So this plane has been produced, or was produced, from the 1930s to the early 1970s in England by the Record Tool Company. And I do have the box. Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit better here. Get this down here a little lower. And we have Record Plough number 43, made in England. And it's got an interesting thing on the box, if you see it. It says, for grooving, for plywood panels, etc. And to me, that just rings of the 30s and 40s, when plywood was a new thing, at least in an affordable way. Mass-produced plywood was beginning to come into circulation at that time, and I guess it would make sense that you'd want to put some of the hottest and latest marketing buzzwords on your tool. So they said for grooving or for plywood panels, etc. I don't know how often you would take a plow plane to anything plywood, but what do I know? Made in England, and again, it comes with the 3 cutters, 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4 inch. So I've been using on this box to plow those grooves, and I thought I'd show you a little bit about it. Let me reset, and I'll get a little more close-up of the plane so you can see some of the features. All right, so let's take a little closer look at this tool. It's fairly basic. It's very, very well made. So this is the iron protrudes here, okay, and you can set the aggressiveness of that cut, the blade's exposure from what would be the sole of the plane, this little skinny part here. You can do that with this thumb screw. So you simply loosen this thumb screw. You can adjust the plane inward or outward. There is no fine adjustment. I don't know that matters. You know, on something like this, you can adjust it pretty well yourself. This shoe on the bottom, right here, adjusts the depth of cut. So the depth to which we are going to get into this board is going to depend on that sole bottoming out, like so. So when that sole, and I hope I'm staying in frame here, when that sole hits bottom, we stop cutting. Okay, simple as that. The fence itself is this piece from here connected to this handle, and it will slide in and out on these two rods by turning these two thumb screws. So you can adjust how far from the edge of the board you want to plow that groove. And in the case of this board, I have two grooves, one that is, I don't know, 1¼ inch or so in from this edge, and one that is 1/8 inch in from what is the bottom of the box. So if this was the box, that would be the box bottom. That would be the little rail I'll put in there to support the tool tray on top. So simple as that. Very, very basic tool. One thing that's common to plow planes is that you will see two holes in the fence, and that is to add usually a piece of wood, and often a fancy piece of wood like something like rosewood or something for some reason. And that would just give you more reference area on the fence. Since I primarily use it for very thin, box sides, I have more fence than I need for 3/16, even 1/4 inch sides that I work on. So I don't need to extend that fence. If you were, for example, going to be plowing grooves in the edges of boards, like so, like putting a groove in there, like in a tongue and groove board, it would probably be an advantage to come down here another inch or so and get a little more reference on that board. But again, if you're planing in this direction, that extra fence isn't going to do anything for you at all. It'll just be floating in the air down here. So that's the anatomy of the plane, again, pretty simple tool. Let me get set up here, and I can get to business of plowing a groove and putting one in this board here. All right, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've set up a piece of stock here, and there's really nothing to it. Being a small plane, it doesn't have a tremendous grip. You're really just kind of holding in the palm of your hand like that, using your left hand to guide it. And the only thing you want to do is make sure that the left, this piece is against the fence, right, as you guide it. And when you're using a plow plane, it's always advantageous to start at the end of the board like this and work your way back. What you want to do is you want to establish a nice clean groove in the board. Now that the iron is deeply into the groove, I'm taking full length passes. Little pressure on the beginning to catch up at the front. Let me move the camera and I'll get you a shot of how these shavings are coming off the iron itself. Okay, so I got you up close and personal here. I want to try to give you a look at how those shavings are coming off of the iron, and hopefully you can see that. Sorry if I'm a little awkward here. I'm reaching around the tripod and around the light stand to try to get you a nice close-up of how these shavings come off. Maybe I'll get a nice slow-mo shot of this. Got a little catching up to do with the front before I get a full shave. Yeah, we're getting there. And now I'm not taking a shaving anymore, barely taking a shaving. a little bit up here, and there I'm done. My shoe is bottomed out, and we've reached the depth of the cut, and we got it. We got her done. So there you have it, the record number 43, made in England. My guess, if I had to shoot a date at this one, I'd guess 1940, but that's just a guess. That is absolutely just a guess. You know, let me know your thoughts. Please use the comment section. Likes and subscriptions are greatly, greatly appreciated, guys. It really helps me. And certainly, if anybody has a record 43 or has any information on them about, you know, how you could tell, you know, the date of the plane, I'd surely appreciate it. Please put that in the comments. These things are still out there. You can find them on eBay, and I think, and I've peek in every once in a while. Haven't for a while, but my guess is that about $100 would get you something like this, a plane in really good shape with the 2 irons in the box. I think if you get down to something that is not as complete or not as in good shape or without the box, you might get down around 50, 60 bucks. But that's my ballpark. There are other manufacturers of small hand planes now. Pretty sure Lee Valley Veritas makes a small plow plane. I don't think Lee Nielsen does. I can't bring it to mind. I don't think they do. But there's some other names that I haven't heard of that I have seen out there. So interesting plane, and I hope you found it interesting too. So as always, be safe, be good, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much.